class. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Milestone 1. In Milestone 1, you will watch your film and begin thinking about it in anthropological terms. You should review the guidelines and rubrics for all 4 milestones to get a sense of what you will be looking for in your film. I would suggest printing them out and highlighting anything that doesn't make sense to you. Then you can email me with questions, or better yet, you can put it in the general questions area of the discussion board so that I can answer it for the whole class. Maybe others have the same question. The series of assignments, milestones 1 to 4, give you a chance to be a cultural anthropologist, or at least an armchair anthropologist. I actually did the assignment myself so that I could give you suggestions for how to complete it. The film that I looked at was The Wizard of Oz. That's why I asked you not to use The Wizard of Oz for your own project. The first thing I did was to peruse the core concepts sheet, which I'll attach at the bottom of this announcement. It'll help you to understand what sorts of things you'll be looking for in the film. Then I sat down with a notebook to watch the behavior of the characters and decide how the behavior I observed related to the concepts. Anthropologists will often conduct research to objectively evaluate cultural practices. This assignment affords you the opportunity to assume the role of an anthropologist. Instead of observing real people in the field, you will observe the actions and practices of the characters in your chosen film. So as you watch the film, you will want to deconstruct the cultural practices that you observe. First, provide a brief synopsis of the film. This is where many students get hung up. They provide me with way more summary and less analysis. It doesn't matter what happened in the film. It matters that you can analyze the behavior using the course concepts and terminology. So here's my synopsis of The Wizard of Oz. A young girl from Kansas named Dorothy is blown by tornado to a land very unfamiliar to her. The film follows her as she journeys from Munchkinland to Oz and meets many inhabitants along the way. At the end of the film, she wakes up in her bed in Kansas, surrounded by her loved ones who remind her of some of the characters she met on her journey, which makes the viewer wonder, does this foreign land exist, or is it just the result of a bad bump on the head? So that's 3 sentences of synopsis, and that is plenty. I'll then also introduce the ideas that I will use in my paper in my introduction. A clear thesis statement is key for your analysis. I'm not interested in the thesis of the film. Like in The Wizard of Oz, it would be good over evil, we can achieve our dreams, home is where the heart is, etc., etc. That's not what I'm interested in. What I want to know is the thesis that tells me in a nutshell how you're analyzing the film and how you will use your 3 theories, themes, perspectives, core concepts, whatever you want to call them, which will draw from your notes that you take as you watch the film to support this thesis. So you'll watch the film and then you'll have examples of behaviors that exemplify the various concepts. After watching the film with my list of core concepts and notes from the film, I've decided that I will look at globalization, symbols, and power. Globalization might be a stretch, since Oz is a fictional land. However, Dorothy's arrival in Oz does bring 2 very different cultures into contact with one another and creates cultural change. Globalization involves exposure to other cultures, and it's the predominant reason for culture change. I want to think about how Dorothy, as an outsider, changes the subcultures she encounters and their ideas of power. I'm interested in how different characters in the film have power. The Wicked Witch controls with fear. The Wizard has power because people believe in him. And the Good Witch has high status because she's adored and trusted. My thesis statement for the Wizard of Oz analysis is that people have power for a variety of reasons. The community creates these reasons and adheres to different types of power. The shared idea of who is powerful is learned and symbolic. So I've explained how globalization and power will be analyzed in my paper. My last concept is symbols, and I'll be thinking about symbols like the ruby slippers, the yellow brick road, the crystal ball, and the sand clock, the flying monkeys, fire, and water, to name a few, and how these things relate to power and control. The problem many students have in Milestone 1 is creating a thesis statement that clearly tells me what they will be analyzing. Many people just write that they will be analyzing and then they list the 3 concepts that they've chosen. But how will you be analyzing them? Will you be looking at assimilation and how cultures change? Will you be looking at the effects of ethnocentrism between subcultures? Your 3 concepts tell me what you will look at, but your thesis tells me how you will look at it. So if you have any questions, please, like I said, email me or post it in the general questions area, and have fun with the assignment.